What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. You guys probably remember my Ruger 10/22 Target Tactical, right? Since the last video of me covering this thing and all of its accessories, I also added a nice little scope on top of it, but other than that, nothing really has changed. The gun we are taking a look at today seems to be a very good alternative to buying a 10/22 like this and then doing all of these upgrades because it comes with a lot of the nice features from the start. The little rifle we are taking a look at today is the Thompson TCR-22. Just like I say with most polymer handguns, I believe you can never have too many 22 rifles. They are extremely fun for anyone to shoot, the ammo is inexpensive, and the guns themselves can typically be found pretty cheap as well. The TCR-22 crosses off all of those boxes and then some, being perfect for hunters, plinkers, and first-time shooters alike. The rifle comes standard with everything you see here right out of the box, including the green fiber optic front sight and adjustable rear peep sight for finding your targets quickly. There's also a built-in Picatinny style rail which allows for the mounting of an optic for more precise shooting at longer ranges. The stock is co-branded between Thompson Center and Magpul, so of course it has M-LOK up front. It has great ergos, it's extremely lightweight, and it comes in this cool OD green color. The receiver and bolt are fully machined from aluminum, and there is an enlarged bolt handle to cycle the action. There are a few other typical 22 features like the last shot bolt hold open with the 10-round magazines, and an easy to push button safety. But one of my favorite additions that I unfortunately will not be able to test in today's video is the addition of threads to the end of the 17-inch barrel. Now, it is a bummer that the ATF is holding my 22 suppressor hostage right now, so if you want to see how this thing performs suppressed, you will have to come back and check the channel in the future. Also, after you see this initial test, you will understand why there will absolutely 100% be a follow-up video to this gun. We are going to get into that soon, but first, let's check out the first mag impression. Alright, I'm going to start this test with some of the cheapest ammo that I have today. It's a lead CCI load. If the gun can run this, then it can probably run anything else that I could put through it. Let's see how it does. It even locked back. Nice. Alright guys, back for my first mag impression of the TCR-22. You may have noticed I was a little bit surprised there that this thing actually locked back. The reason for that is because a lot of times when you use different magazines, 22s like this don't always lock back. Thompson Center definitely designed these magazines in a nice way, and I'm glad that this thing actually locks back like that. Now, the first thing that I noticed when putting my hands on this rifle is just how light it is. Obviously, it's a 22, it's a small package, but the overall weight of this thing actually weighs less than a Desert Eagle, even when this thing is loaded up. I'm actually going to grab a scale quick. Here we go. First up, the Desert Eagle comes in weighing at about 4 pounds and 5.6 ounces. This is also unloaded right now. The TCR, on the other hand, let's see if I can get this thing to stand up without me touching it. The TCR-22 is coming in at 4 pounds, 5.2 ounces. So that comparison doesn't really mean a whole lot, but I just thought that that was kind of a cool fact. Now, the ergos on this thing are definitely something that I am a big fan of. I upgraded my original Ruger 10/22 to have the Magpul X Hunter stock on here. It brings your grip angle down a little bit. It just feels a little more high quality than the stocks that these things normally ship with. So to see Thompson Center collaborate with Magpul on making a stock like this, I'm definitely a very big fan of it. The whole profile of this thing is basically like a 22 takedown. On those models, you can obviously remove the barrel and then kind of place this end down here, and that is what this cutout in the bottom of the stock would actually be used for. So the ergos are great, and the fact that this comes with a stock like this from Magpul right out of the box, that is one advantage that I do see, and I would not have to go out and buy one of these stocks since it comes with it. And then for the receiver and barrel, you can actually take this thing out of here just like you would any other 10/22. It's held in with just one Allen bolt on the bottom here. You simply take that out and I could lift this whole thing right out of the stock. I do prefer the receiver on the Thompson Center for a couple different reasons, one of them being that the Picatinny rail is actually built into the top of the receiver. My 10/22 Tactical, that thing is not actually built in there. Not a huge thing, but I do like that that is included right from the start. The machining on this guy is also very nice. It's kind of a more modernized look. It comes in this matte black finish all around. It also matches the barrel very well. And probably the only thing that I did not upgrade on my 1022 that I would like to upgrade is the charging handle. This enlarged bolt handle right here is very nice. I can obviously get a good finger on there. I do like that it is rounded and it's just a little bit more ergonomic and comfortable to put a round in the chamber with this versus the 1022. You can see the bolt hold open working its magic right there. This barrel, while it is not a bull barrel like my 1022, I am still a big fan of it. It fits the stock very nicely and it comes threaded from the factory. Like I said, I wish this is something that I could test in this video, but you guys will just have to wait and kind of check back once my suppressor comes in. Also, just behind the threads is the front sight post. A very, very bright green fiber optic is in there. You guys probably already know that I am a big fan of fiber optics like this. This picks up a lot of light even when shooting in very overcast, dreary, foggy conditions like I was. And then the rear peep sight in the back offers a pretty big aperture. But as you will see here soon, I had no problem stretching this thing out to distances that I had to work with that day. That bigger peep sight allows you to get on targets very quickly. This thing is super bright. I can see it in almost any condition. And then I can transition from target to target and pick that front sight post up very easily. There is also two little tether points, one up here and one in the back if you wanted to run this thing with a sling while you're hiking through the woods. So from an initial impression, there is a lot of good value here coming from the Thompson Center TCR. This thing is coming in at around $350, so you could pick this up and then not have to worry about upgrading everything else. Now, like I said, 22s are obviously super fun to shoot. You guys all know that already. So let's get back into that foggy shooting day, and then I will come back and give you guys my final impressions of this gun. Alright, I am way far back here and you guys probably can't even see the targets with all this fog. I should be able to pick up this front sight post since it is pretty bright even though it is very disgusting out here today. Let's see if I can land some shots. Well, pretty damn accurate. How about we do some more trick shot stuff? Now it's even more difficult to see the target. See if we can hit a little one. Yep. This thing is impressively accurate. I wonder if right about there. Yeah, buddy. Now this thing really isn't liking these Ruger magazines, but we gotta see if we can make it through one 25 round mag dump. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, buddy. Alright guys, back for my final impressions of the TCR-22. As you can tell from that video, I had a blast shooting this thing, and for the most part it was very reliable even with some of that cheap ammo that I was running. I say for the most part because I was running into a little bit of an issue with some certain mags. This thing was really designed to take any aftermarket 10/22 part, so of course I had to swap out the Thompson center magazine to try out a regular Ruger mag. Now the 10 round box mags worked fine. The only thing when using something like this in the TCR is that the bolt will not lock open. So a lot of times you saw me shooting there, it went click, and that is because I ran out and it just didn't lock back. Now if you guys have been following my daily vlogs, you will know that I picked up this thing, the Ruger BX25 magazines. This thing was a nightmare for me for a bunch of different reasons. Now before you go down to the comment section and say, oh, you could find one cheaper somewhere else, or there's some fixes that you can do to that thing. I know all of that, I know how they work, I've run this thing in my 10/22 before, not this exact mag. This one, however, I bought brand new on the day that I went out to shoot this thing and test it out, and I was super frustrated, as you guys can imagine, so let's roll in some of that video right now. Now since this gun can take a lot of Ruger parts, I'm going to see if this Ruger 25 rounder will run. That needed a little bit of assist going forward there, but it's probably because this magazine is brand new. I just opened it. Didn't like that round for some reason. Oh, you know what it is? These cheap loads come in those little plastic things, and the tips of these are all coated in wax, which I didn't actually peel off of here. Let's see if it can fight through all the wax. No, it is definitely not liking that. All right, these are all cleaned up now. I'm running some more normal rounds. Hopefully this thing works. That was a weird one. Look how that round got stuck in there. It's like over to the side. Let's try that again. All right, that time we did not get locked back, but that could be because it is a Ruger mag. And I'm not sure what was up with that one weird malfunction. A lot of 22s, when they are brand new, especially running brand new magazines that aren't really intended for it, they can run into hiccups like that. So I'm gonna keep running this thing first with its intended magazine, and then I'll switch back to this and hopefully it'll keep on running. Try this again. Oh my god. This mag is fucking garbage. Back to a Thompson mag. Works. I'm over it. So there you have it. I have a bad magazine here. Like I said, I could fix it. I could do a lot of things to it. But what I really want to do is strap it to some tannerite and blow it the f up because, oh, it was so frustrating. When I get around to testing this thing some more, especially when it is suppressed, I'm going to make sure I have this mag in a working order. I may also go out and grab some different mags, that way I can test a bunch of different things in this. And there are already a ton of different tests of different ammo being run through this thing. So for the most part, I probably won't be testing a super wide variety of ammo, but I will probably pick out a handful of different loads, that way I can see what works best when this thing is shot suppressed. So I'm gonna put this garbage to the side and only give my final impressions on this thing from the Thompson Center mag perspective. With this thing in the gun, it performed flawlessly, it ran great, and if I were to ever go out and go plinking again, this is the mag that I would bring with me. The bolt hold open actually works. It ran all 10 rounds of any ammo that I put through it without a hiccup. Ergonomically, the gun feels great. Like I said, you do not have to upgrade to a Magpul stock because it comes with one from the factory. It was very accurate even when I couldn't really see out at roughly 100 yards. And I guarantee you I could be more accurate with some better ammo and of course a scope mounted on top of here. As for the trigger, there really isn't anything to write home about here. It feels like a standard 10/22 trigger. I do have the upgraded lighter trigger pull in my Ruger here. It's basically the same trigger shoe. The safeties look very similar. The trigger guards may vary just ever so slightly. And the upgraded trigger on this is definitely a lot lighter. But then again, that is about a $75 upgrade. You're only shooting a 22 long rifle round, so you really don't need to have a super crisp hair trigger. But just for reference, here is the take up to the wall. And then you do get a pretty nice and crisp break. What's good about this gun being able to accept 10/22 parts is that I could put the same upgraded trigger in this. Am I going to do that? I don't know, probably not. I'm kind of going to keep this thing relatively stock, maybe trick it out just a little bit. I might throw like a red dot optic on here. I might even Cerakote the stock or something like that before I do the follow-up video to this. But for the most part, for my first impression of it, I believe that it is a very good package at a relatively reasonable price point. So if you want to get a little bit more value rather than just a stock Ruger 10/22, I think Thompson Center might be a good company to look into. So that's all that I had for now. If you guys have any questions on the TCR-22, feel free to leave those in the comments down below. I'm not exactly sure when I will be able to get around to doing a follow-up video on this, but I will try to do it as soon as possible. If you are new to the channel, consider clicking subscribe so you don't miss out on when that video comes out, and that's all that I had for today. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one.